Ellie M posted a comment saying, "I barely know any classical musicians with kids who are also serious performers. It's hard to find inspiration in that regard. Can you speak in more detail about what a typical day looks like for you, how you find the time to practice, and how you stay motivated? Thank you." Ellie, thank you so much for this comment. I agree 100% about it being difficult to find inspiration. I knew from a fairly early age that raising children was a high priority for me, but the world seemed to be telling me that it's not possible to be a mother and a serious soloist. Even some of my teachers were saying this to me. This meant that I felt like when I reached my 30s, I'd have to choose between the two, and that just caused so much anxiety throughout my teens and 20s, and this horrible feeling of pressure on all the time. I couldn't find any interviews or footage of female musicians who had also managed to raise children. My only guess is that people don't talk about it for fear of being judged not serious enough. Of course, you could hire a full-time nanny and just continue with practicing and performing as before, and even travelling with the nanny and children to all your concerts. I personally didn't want to go down that route. I didn't want to miss out on the everyday bits of raising a family. So even with a super supportive husband and a family to help, which is really crucial, I think, that still leaves a time issue, both in terms of practical time at the instrument, but also in terms of mental time, that space to allow the creative process to happen. It also creates problems with practicalities if I'm travelling for concerts or recordings or whatever. There's also the emotional and hormonal side of becoming a mother, which is kind of hard to talk about in public, but it does cause chaos in all areas of life, or at least that has been my experience. And then of course the physical changes that happen after giving birth and breastfeeding. So you're contending with all of these extra hurdles in a career that's already incredibly demanding, both physically and psychologically. So far, I'm finding that I'm generally pretty near the edge of my capacities, mentally, emotionally, time-wise, organisationally, physically. So in all ways, basically. But I think it is possible to do both. We're all still alive, everyone's basically happy. We haven't used too much childcare, and I'm still creating, and my playing is still deepening, which is the most important point. So I think, in fact, having the children has expanded my musical understanding, my pianistic freedom, my passion, and my real knowledge that I absolutely need to play the piano. So that does kind of help with the motivation question that you raised. I'm sort of hoping to gradually open up some discussion of what it means to be a musician who also wants to have children, and not to compromise that artistic quality. I'm planning more videos on this topic in the future, so things like getting advice from other people who have managed it, and maybe day in the life type things if people would like that. But I'm also really more than happy to discuss in the comments below if you have any specific questions or things that you'd like to see. Then please just ping me a reply below and I'll get right back to you. But Ellie, thank you so much for asking this question, and I'm excited to continue this